Well, good morning. Welcome to this devotion. I'm George Fuller, pastor at Wendell Christian Church, and I'm glad that you're joining us. We are just taking a slow walk through Psalm 23, and we're taking it a phrase at a time, and we've been doing this for a few weeks now. I'll read Psalm 23, and then we'll stop and focus on one particular phrase. I'm reading out of the Jerusalem Bible because it preserves the names of God in its translation. It's one of my favorites, especially in the Psalms. Yahweh is my shepherd. I lack nothing. In meadows of green grass, he lets me lie. To the waters of repose, he leads me. There he revives my soul. He guides me by paths of virtue for the sake of his name. Though I pass through the gloomy valley, I fear no harm. Beside me, your rod and your staff are there to hearten me. You prepare a table before me under the eyes of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup brims over. Ah, how goodness and kindness pursue me every day of my life. My home, the house of Yahweh, as long as I live. Last time I talked about going through the gloomy valley, and we often would prefer God take us around the gloomy valleys or tell us we don't even have to worry about ever having them. And a lot of people imagine that the next life is in a place where there are no gloomy valleys. And it shows that we long to not have them. And we talked about last time how we get through the gloomy valley, and that it's at that point in the psalm that the psalmist David goes from talking about Yahweh to talking with Yahweh. And that shift is huge, because the difference for us when we know and experience the love of Yahweh, of God, of the Christ, of the one true living reality that we live and move and have our being in, when we're really saturated in and with love, when we have that, we don't recognize maturity isn't something you accomplish so that you escape real life and the challenges and the dying and the living and the growing and the maturing and the learning. No, when you understand, experience, and share the love of God, you're able to get through the gloomy valleys, the dark valleys. You're able to pass through it. It enables us to be flourishing in real life with the seasons of the year and the seasons of life, the seasons of relationships, and be patient with one another as we go along the journey and grow along the journey. And that's the phrase I wanted to focus in today in verse 4. He says, though I pass through a gloomy valley, I fear no harm. Beside me, your rod and your staff are there to hearten me. I remember learning a while back that we picture shepherds herding sheep and using even dogs trained, and some of them amazing dogs that herd sheep along and get them where they need to be and keep them safe. In the times and place where Jesus lived, and in the times and place where the shepherd David, who became a king, lived, the shepherds walked in front and along with the sheep. They trusted the shepherd and kept their eyes on the shepherd, and were ones that followed, not ones that were herded along. And so Israel followed the pillar of fire, followed the pillar of cloud through the wilderness. And David no doubt had those images in his mind, if not right when he was writing these words or coming up with these words. They were in his story, and he was a shepherd, and the rod and the staff had purposes. There's a book by a guy named Keller called A Shepherd Looks at Psalm 23, and it unpacks it a lot more in that book. But I just want to say in these brief moments that the rod and the staff are the tools the shepherd uses to protect and guide and teach and be creating the space that the sheep live and thrive in. So let us remember that on this day and on every day, in this moment and in every moment, whether we're going through the gloomy valley or we're back up in the grassy fields or beside still water, wherever we find ourselves, the shepherd is with us, and our shepherd provides for what we need to mature and grow and be strong and get through. May we trust that, and may we share that with one another, because it's something we do together, not in isolation, but together, following our shepherd. May it be so in us and among us.